Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving's sensational play during the playoffs has propelled the Mavericks into the NBA Finals, while also earning them recognition as one of the greatest backcourt duos in NBA history.
Is going to be challenged trying to slow them down. Arguably the best offensive backcourt in the history of the NBA in Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving.
Did you say history?
Let's look closer at this backcourt duo to see if Stan Van Gundy's claim is valid. To start, let's look at the two players individually for a moment. Luka Doncic, a young talent at just 25 years old, has already solidified his reputation as one of the most skilled players in NBA history, boasting impressive career averages of 28.7 points per game, 8.7 rebounds per game, and 8.3 assists per game, and those numbers are rising each year. He is virtually unstoppable as a scorer and possesses exceptional vision as a passer and playmaker. Standing at 6'7", he has the physical tools to navigate the court with ease. On the other hand, Kyrie Irving has the reputation for ball handling skills and finishing abilities, showcasing remarkable body control. Irving has been in discussions for years as pound for pound the most skilled player in the league, and really in league history. Both players excel at shooting from long range and thrive in clutch moments. Importantly, both Doncic and Irving primarily operate as point guards, even though Kyrie, as Luka's teammate, often assumes an off-ball role. What distinguishes this Mavericks duo is their versatility. Either player can seamlessly transition between scoring and playmaking duties as needed. As a backcourt duo, I don't even think it's controversial for them to be considered in such high regard. When it comes to offensive talent, they are undeniable. The statement gets less controversial the closer you look. I mean, it has never been very popular for a team's best players to be both guards. In my opinion, the only real comparable duo, especially modernly, that can compare to Luka and Kyrie is Steph and Klay. There is absolutely no denying that Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson are unparalleled as the greatest shooting backcourt in NBA history. Their success is indisputable, solidified by 4 championships. Additionally, during his prime, Klay Thompson was a great defender and showed a greater level of commitment to defense compared to Doncic and Irving throughout their careers. If one were to select the ultimate backcourt duo of all time, the Splash Brothers would undoubtedly be a strong contender. However, remember, Van Gundy's comments were about the most offensively talented or skilled backcourt duo. But of course, the conversation becomes even more complicated when considering how one defines what makes the skill and offense, and how each of those attributes would be weighted. But for just a moment, let's simply look at the numbers. Looking at combined scoring averages, the top spot actually belongs to James Harden and Russell Westbrook, who collectively averaged 61.5 points per game for the 2019-20 Houston Rockets, 2 points higher than Doncic and Irving achieved this season, and nearly 10 points higher than the Warriors duo. If we shift the focus and look at total points generated, including all points scored and assisted on, things get even more interesting. Now, mind you, this analysis is confined to the play-by-play era, or since the 1996-97 season, but it once more highlights Harden and Westbrook, who collectively created 97.4 points per game in that 2019-20 season. Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving come in second, generating 95.3 points, and Curry and Thompson did not rank in the top 6 due to their comparatively lower assist rates. Shifting focus again, let's look at offensive box plus minus. In this category, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson emerge victorious, boasting an average OBPM of 6.9 in the 2015-16 season, tying them with the Rockets duo this time of James Harden and Chris Paul through the 2017-18 season. Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving secured the 3rd spot at 6.6, slightly ahead of another season by Curry and Thompson back in the 14-15 season. Now, following his initial statement, Stan Van Gundy shared that he received numerous alternative suggestions, such as Tim Hardaway and Mitch Richmond from the early 90s Warriors, Jerry West and Gail Goodrich from the late 60s and early 70s Lakers, and Clyde Frazier and Earl Monroe from the 70s Knicks. The thing is, much of this debate boils down to personal perspective. Fans of the late 80s Pistons might advocate for Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars, while supporters of the 60s Celtics might argue for Bob Cousy and Sam Jones. An 80s Lakers fanatic might point to Magic Johnson and Byron Scott. But the discussion becomes even more complex when defining what constitutes a backcourt. The Bulls of the 90s, for instance, operated with the triangle offense, excluding traditional point guards from playing their traditional roles, and relying heavily on Michael Jordan, who was certainly a guard, and Scottie Pippen, a forward who often played like a guard. Could they technically be considered the Bulls' backcourt? If so, this changes the debate drastically. Similar positional dilemmas arise when examining Kyrie Irving's previous teammate in the NBA Finals, LeBron James. Although LeBron has essentially acted as the point guard on all his teams, running the offense and directing nearly every possession, he has typically been listed as a forward, flanked by two more conventional guards. How does the James-Irving partnership factor in? While Scottie was a bit more of a stretch, LeBron shares several similarities with guards like Magic or even Luka. The primary challenge in this evaluation lies not solely with Doncic but also with Irving. Even if one argues that a different lead guard surpasses Doncic, which of course would rarely if ever be the case, their secondary guard is unlikely to exhibit greater skill than Kyrie Irving. Kyrie has solidified himself as one of the best number 2s or 1Bs of all time. While Luka and Kyrie have not yet secured a championship together and may not be considered elite two-way players, their partnership has existed for only 16 months. Longevity, defensive prowess, and success are crucial factors when assessing legacies and rankings. Now, again, Van Gundy never declared that Doncic and Irving represent the greatest backcourt he has witnessed, only that they are the most gifted offensively, a claim they consistently support with their performances night after night, especially in this postseason. In fact, what they've accomplished in those short 16 months, well really the last few months, has already put them in all-time conversations. Should they stay together and find more success as a duo, the discussions about their dominance will get much crazier. Was Van Gundy right about Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving? Or do you see a different duo even greater? Let us know in the comments, and please subscribe. And thanks for watching Sports Pantheon.